Hello and welcome, folks, to another edition of RSF Radio. I'm your host, Joe Munday, and today is December 28th. A very happy anniversary to my lovely wife. 4 years running. And with that, I kind of want to share an anecdote about having a wife and being in the FGC. Because I saw someone ask this question the other day during the Combo Queens AMA. And it was, how do I get my wife into fighting game community? If I want to go to an event with my wife. And I was like, well, first of all, the real advice there is don't force your significant other or anyone that you care about into something that they're just not interested in. Wouldn't be couth, wouldn't be prudent. However, I will share this anecdote. With the first Evo that we went to 3 years ago, when it was back in Paris, when she went with me, it was her first Evo, and she didn't know what was gonna be happening, didn't know what was gonna be going on. She was just in Vegas, during the middle of the summer, hot weather out there. She just wanted to hang out by the pool, and I don't blame her. It's great weather for that. Why not? And the first day, I'm like, all right, I want to go down early, because I know some people are going to be playing and want to cheer them on, and just kind of see what's all going on. I want to get all of the experience. So I'm going down there at 8 o'clock if you want to come with. So she gets dressed for the pool. She throws some clothes over top of it. So she's got her swimsuit underneath, like t-shirt and shorts. She's got a swim bag with her, ready to go to the pool. She's going to stop in, just poke her head in and see what's been going on. But we walk in within the first couple minutes of seeing the big stage, seeing all the rows of people playing and yelling at each other, and just the excitement, the fervor of it all. The big projector on the screen. They got the big sound system just pumping out hits. I feel like especially that year, because of the space, it was a bit smaller than it was the last couple of years that they've had they had the convention center the year after that, and the sound was kind of lost because it was such a big room. But in the Paris, because it was a smaller ballroom, they pumped those speakers up to 11. And when someone got hit with a jump in, or got hit with 100 hand slap, you heard every bump of it. It hit you in the chest. It's just something about that, being in that space with around that many people. Within minutes, she leaned into me and said, I'm actually gonna change and come back down. You gonna be here for a while? Because I'm gonna go change. I was like, you know what? Yeah, that's cool. Because she doesn't she doesn't necessarily even care about fighting games all that much. She didn't really care to learn how the ins and outs of them. She understands them through me and how much I talk about them. But other than that, she's not going to go after it on her own. But still, there was the being at the large event and being around that many people who are all excited about the same thing. I liken it to the Super Bowl, where I probably wouldn't I don't care about football all that much, but the Super Bowl would probably be a fun event to go to. Never done it, but it seems like the event to go to. It's that, the pomp and circumstance of it all. There's excitement around it. The electricity is in the air. So kind of with that, if you do have a significant other out there and you're trying to get them out to an event, just go. Just say, I know you're not into this, but let's just try it. And yeah, they might like it. Granted, she does spend a lot of time at the pool still. She's not necessarily interested in the Evo pool. She is interested in getting a suntan by the actual pool. And I don't blame her, because that's fun too. It's in Vegas, and it's very hot. And we live in Pittsburgh, where it currently snowed. Well, we were at her folks' house, and it snowed 6 feet the other day, so you're kind of it's kind of dicey getting home. But regardless, again, I want to give a very special happy anniversary to my wife today, on December 28th. Today's not actually December 28th. I'm recording it a day before, so I'm not going to get yelled at tomorrow, so don't worry about it, guys. Don't worry about it at all. It's fine. We're fine. All right, so if you're not familiar with the show, on RSF Radio, what we typically talk about is what's been going on the front page of our Street Fighter throughout the week. However, with this week, Last week I prompted everyone the question, what were your favorite matches of 2017? A lot of publications out there have gone through their game of the year, their top 10 games of the year, and granted, it's been one hell of a year for games. Even outside of fighting games, if you are a fan of video games, there's some hot titles what dropped this year. So I'm sure there are some contentious top 10 lists out there, and there's also so what I proposed was, let's do a top 10 list of matches from this year, and I think it's still pretty contentious. There was a lot of very exciting matches this year, so I put a list together of my own personal top 10 list of matches. Some matches that struck home for me, that plucked at my heartstrings, some that I just enjoyed from a technical perspective, and I'll share those with you. You are welcome to disagree with this list and build your own. I've got that thread up that you can look at other people's top 10 lists, but I'm probably going to post another one in the posting of this particular episode, or at the time of posting this episode, just to get it up there on the front page again, just so you know, if you want to get in on some of this while the getting's good, now's the time. Or if you want to look back at the year of 2017 and all of the hype matches, what happened. Also, I don't want to limit you guys to Street Fighter. If there's like some other matches in other games, feel free to share those, because it has been a good year in fighting games. There are a lot of very good fighting games out here, but for the purpose of this particular podcast, I'm going to keep things to Street Fighter related games, because this is our Street Fighter RSF radio. Wouldn't be, I mean, we've talked about other games here before, but for the top 10 list 2017, going to keep to Street Fighter. So without further ado, let's hop into, I wish I had ESPN, so I also do video format for this. I wish I had some like hot ESPN graphics from their top 10 plays of the week or whatever, have that rundown, but I don't, so I'm just going to say number 10. I didn't even set up the air horn. Damn it. I'm really messing up. Number 10 comes from Florida. Winter. It is from their winter party at Gator Gaming. Now, this is a relatively unknown. However, I will say someone that is known to the people at our Street Fighter and personal friend of mine, Moondoggie versus KnuckleDo. In grand finals at Gator Gaming, it's hard to say, Gator Gaming Winter Party. It is, in my opinion, it's just because I like to see Moondoggie do well. He plays Balrog. KnuckleDo was playing Mika at the time, and they go through their first set in grand finals, and Moondoggie resets the bracket. He gets all the way through a first set with KnuckleDo, and then there is a point where it turns, and after Moondoggie takes the first set, KnuckleDo switches to Birdie, which is not something that anyone at the time of this particular tournament had seen before, because no one has seen KnuckleDo counterpick like that, and it throws Moondoggie off enough that he just gets bopped in the second set. Oh no, he's playing. KnuckleDo plays Guile for the first set, then switches to Birdie for the second set. Regardless, it was really cool to see Moondoggie do so well against a top player, and I think that for him personally, this match really set him off in terms of how much effort he was going to put in the scene. So look for him on Twitter, and look for him in 2018. I know he's been putting a lot of work in for Guilty Gear. However, could be a year for him in Street Fighter 5 as well. Who knows? The Florida scene is very strong, so look out for anyone that frequents the backdoor fighters. We typically give props to them during our weekly tournament, just because, by the way, when we run our weekly tournaments, we like to give shout outs and props to any local communities out there who want some more coverage. So if you actually happen to be someone who runs a small local tournament and you want a bigger platform, then reach out. I haven't made one of those posts in a while to get names of tournaments, but Moondoggie was one of those people who runs his local backdoor fighting down there in Gainesville, Florida, and dude's been putting in work. Dude loves his community, and he's obviously a strong player. Bops KnuckleDo in the first set of grand finals, and then his brain just stops whenever KnuckleDo switches to Birdie. And even the commentators even say no one was ready for this. And actually, Moondoggie, he DM'd me after this happened, and he was like, dude leaned in and said, "You're not ready for this." And then he wasn't ready for this. So it's an exciting match. It's fun to watch friends do well. And I think that's going to be a theme in this particular top 10 list. And I think that is one of the main strings in the fighting game community, is that it is exciting to watch your friends and loved ones do well competitively. Their successes are shared successes, especially when you are from the same local community as them. Everyone from Florida, everyone from Backdoor Fighters was freaking out whenever you took that first set, and I would too. It's because it's that shared success of they know that they've played Moondoggie, they know that they beat him, and that made him stronger as a player. Spending a little bit more time on kind of the meta of that, of why this match to me is important, and it's also a very exciting set. It's good to see players from smaller local communities do well against worldwide players. So that is my number 10 on my top 10 list. So moving on to number 9, which is another KnuckleDo match between KnuckleDo and Snake Eyes. At Combo Breaker 2017 Grand Finals. Now keep in mind, in this set, it was Snake Eyes who sent KnuckleDo to losers earlier in the tournament. And a lot of people, I want to say this match isn't for everybody. People who like to see fast action, like to see rounds end quickly, they want to see the hottest of all combos, they want to see shit popping off at a breakneck pace, this match is not for you. This is a slow grind. The millstone of fighting games grinds slow, and it grinds for do. It's a very exciting set, in my opinion. But I happen to prefer, not all the time, but like when I see a nice slow match, see the slow roll, and you can watch other players be in the heads of each other, and you can see that decision making, like tit for tat. That is some of my favorite stuff in fighting games, and this particular set delivers. There's also a lot of time spent on the character select screen, because both these players play a handful of different characters, and you can see them grinding through in their heads. Well, should I really change for this matchup? If I win with this character, then am I locked in? And then he's going to change to his other. It is a battle of the minds. Granted, all fighting games are a battle of the minds, but this one in particular, because of the slow-paced nature and the classic matchup of Guile versus Zangief, it is. I don't know. It's a bad matchup for Geef, and I love watching people overcome bad matchups with skill and just raw grinding it out. And for that reason, this match earns a number 9 slot. Now, I will say again, this match is not for everybody. If you do not prefer slow matches, I mean, look, the time on this one, 30 minutes in 2 sets, best of 5. So this is the longer set, and it's good. I recommend it personally, but not for everybody. And with that, moving on to number 8, Canada Cup, another Zangief. Who would have thought? It's all about Zangief in Street Fighter V. I think he's one of the most exciting characters to watch play. Alex is another one to watch. I think. In terms of character matchups that are just exciting in the get-go, like if you watch an Alex do well, you also know that it's an uphill battle for Alex typically, because he's generally a poor character and lacks a lot of tools that other characters are afforded in Street Fighter V. However, Zangief is not necessarily that way. Zangief is a strong character, but when he makes his hard reads and it pays off, it can be very exciting. And everybody loves Itabashi. Itabashi loves gamble. and and this one in particular. So let me run it back. So it is Problem X versus Itabashi Zangief, Canada Cup 2017 top 8. And even before this match, Problem X has always had a problem with Zangief, and it's not a good matchup for Bison. This match is not easy for Bison to take over. Geef basically controls the neutral. Bison doesn't really have the walk speed to really set the pace, nor does he have the normals to really set the pace. So really, it all turns up Geef. He doesn't have the reversals or really any of the tools to put the pressure on Geef. So it is really Geef's match to lose, in my opinion. And I feel like a lot of Bisons feel that way as well. It's tough. But in this particular set, Problem X puts up quite a fight. And it is exciting to watch someone, again, fight that uphill battle and overcome a bad matchup. Now, granted, Itabashi comes out on top, which we can talk about in a minute. Because this is a certain rivalry that lasts, this one persisted throughout the CPT tournament series. But Itabashi wins in Canada Cup in a close set, which is a small victory for Problem X, even though he would have wanted to win this one and overcome a demon here. But again, a very exciting match. And if you play Bison, watch what he does in this set, because it is very well played on Problem X's part. Dude's very strong. Very, very, very strong Bison. So if you play Bison, you want to learn the ropes, overcoming bad matchups, watch this set. And for that reason, this makes number 8 on my list of top 10 matches. And kind of going with that same feeling, gonna move right into Capcom Cup 2017. Itabashi Zangief versus Nemo. Oh boy. Now, in the match previous to this, Itabashi was cheering for Problem X, going as far to say, fuck Nemo, in English, because he does speak English. If you watch that interview with Born Free, he actually does a lot to speak English in that interview and say his piece about the current state of the game and how he feels about Zangief in this particular game. However, this set is exciting because it has a history. We've talked about this before on the podcast, and there are threads out there. I might go as far to link the thread that goes through their rivalry this year, but this rivalry is a heated one. Granted, it's a friendly rivalry. These guys are friends. They share rooms together at tournaments. They don't hate each other's guts, but they do hate each other's guts, if that makes sense. And this particular match, if you happen to know, if you've seen the memes out there, we've talked about the memes before, but Nemo takes it and offers the saltiest of handshakes, and it is delightful. The look on his face it is the most smug face I've seen in all of 2017. And I think for that reason, this earns number 7 slot. I had a little debate with myself whether I wanted to move this one up, but I feel like the conversation of moving from Problem X match at Canada Cup and then directly into this one where Problem X had played Nemo in the match before, Itabashi the whole time cheering for Problem X, wanting to play Problem X in the next set because he knows that he can take him, and then playing Nemo, and then how it ends. It's a good set. But it's also a good story. Like, if you were a sports writer, this would be a good one to write about, in my opinion. And for that reason, this one earns number 7 slot on my top 10 games of this year. All right, now going back to a more personal story. This one goes out to the number 6 slot is... We're at 6 now, right? The number 6 slot goes to Nicktoons versus Menna RD in the Wednesday night fights prior to Capcom Cup. If you don't know, Nicktoons is a somewhat sponsored by our Street Fighter, in that helped him set up a lot of the equipment that he has for the second stream at Wednesday night fights, and helped him set up things for to run other tournaments in that region, and help out small communities as well. Because I believe in supporting smaller streamers and helping them become larger players on the big stage. Because there's not a lot of them that are able to make it that far. But I think his team has what it takes, and his whole team they've got the drive to do it, which is why I believe in them. But that's neither here nor there, because Nick played against Menna the Wednesday before Capcom Cup in a goddamn nail biter. I swear, anytime I watch Nick play, and this is not just true of this particular set, but anytime I've watched him play in like live or anytime during tournaments, this dude has me biting my nail. Like I pick up nervous habits when I watch him play. Dude makes me so nervous. He has to make everything so goddamn close. And he ends up pulling it out and beating Menna with his secondary. I actually don't know if Abigail is Menna's secondary now, because of a tweet that he had said. It might have been earlier today or a couple days ago, where like he basically says, "Yo, I won Capcom Cup with my secondary. Y'all aren't ready for me in 2018," which leads me to believe that Nick beat Menna with his primary character. Therefore, Nick Tenella, in so much he won Capcom Cup, in my opinion. Watch out for Nick in 2018. The guy's just putting in work, but he's also putting in work for like running small locals. He's not putting all of his work into just being a competitive player. So like when you have your attention split between a couple things, you can't necessarily play at the top of your game. But I think in 2018 he's looking forward to it, and he has a whole team of people doing good work out there at Wednesday Night Fights and other locals in that region. So if you don't follow him on Twitch, maybe go do that. Or if you don't watch Wednesday Night Fights, maybe go do that. But anyway, neither here nor there. This particular set between Nick's Nikali and Menna's Abigail was, I don't know, I love Abigail too. He's another exciting character because of the burst damage. I just love burst damage. It's fun to watch shit pop off real quick like that. But goddamn, Nick just has me biting my nails the whole time. He can't make any set like a blowout. It's always got to be close when it comes to exciting matches like that. But that's some good Street Fighter right there. But anyway, that is my number 6 pick. So moving on to number 5, I've got Menna RD versus Tokido in Capcom Cup 2017. I would even extend this to this extends to their match in winners finals, to their set in grand finals, because you can see a lot of the mental changes that happen from winners finals, where Tokido takes it, all the way through grand finals, where Menna gets the reset and then eventually takes it in the end. This is just one, I don't know, it was good to see Menna perform so well on such a big stage like this. Good to see Birdie. I've been saying that Birdie's good for just about all year, if not the upper. He's like upper mid tier. He's not top tier. He's got things that hold him back. Don't let people say that this character won Capcom Cup. That's a load of bullshit. Menna won Capcom Cup because he beat literally everybody. Dude bopped everyone at Capcom Cup. If you look at his tournament lineup and who he had to beat to get to grand finals, he's not just beating chumps on his way to number 1. Dude beat everybody. And watching someone go from winners finals, taking that L, and then running it back in grand finals, that's just a good story. And it's a good set in general. Very fun to watch. Slow play from Menna's part. And you get to watch both of these players get in each other's minds and make slight adjustments on the fly in between sets, which is ideally what you want to do in Street Fighter in general and in fighting games in general. And it's so much so that you can see it where they change. And for that reason, this takes the number 5 slot on my top 10 list of games sets of 2017. Now moving on to the next set. If you guys don't know what Cooperation Cup is, look it up now. It is a third strike tournament, which is actually coming up to next week. in a little over a week's time. Cooperation Cup 2018. But number 4 on my list goes to Matsuken and Nieto. Keep in mind, this is a best of 5 scenario. It's not best of 5. This is a 5v5 tournament where you just play one set and then winner stays, basically. And this particular set between Matsuken and Nieto was one of my favorites throughout the entire tournament. This is only top 8 in Cooperation Cup. However, the comebacks from Nieto are delectable. They make it. And the best part about Cooperation Cup 2 is that as you are watching this, you see something hot and you go, that is exciting. But also, they pull the camera out to their entire team, and their entire team is just psyched about it. And that, there's something about that particular element of Cooperation Cup that not a lot of other tournaments have that particular fervor for excitement about your teammates doing well. And it's, oh man, is it exciting, because he gets that magic pixel in round 3 and just pulls off some choice parries in the exact right moment, and some of his teammates can't even believe it. And for that reason, easily number 4. This is one of my favorites from the tournament, but go ahead and watch that entire tournament. Look at this face. If you were watching the video, look at this guy's face. He can't believe it. Bates, and then, oh, look at that right there. It's a look of unbelief. And that's the kind of stuff that Cooperation Cup is all about. And I look forward to that on the 7th. Next month. January 7th. Goddamn, that is coming up quick. So this happened way earlier this year, but damn if this one didn't stick with me. Again, that's Matsuken versus Nieto. Their teams, watch the whole thing if you can, if you have the time for it. It's a longer tournament, it's a longer team tournament, but this one happened in the top 8 of the team tournament, and just this one small set, you see these little moments of just gold that are, live for this stuff. It's very good Street Fighter right here. Highly recommend checking that out, and I look forward to Cooperation Cup 2018 because it's coming up quick. Mark your calendars, folks. So I will share the link to the Japanese stream and the English stream, because they also have people come in and just talk about Third Strike. If it's actually a really good way to learn Third Strike, at least from a perspective, or even if you don't want to get into playing Third Strike, which you should, play thirdstrike.com. Even if you don't plan on playing it is a good stream to watch if you want to appreciate how to watch Third Strike, because some things might not make sense to a viewer coming at it for the first time. If you've just come in with Street Fighter 5 and thought, all right, I'll watch some Third Strike. The animations are really silky smooth, but I don't really understand how these games work. The commentators always do a really great job of giving you the rundown on how things work, typically with between all the matchups, the choices players might have made. They'll call things out when they're exciting. If you didn't catch why an overhead was exciting. So if you want to get into Third Strike, I would mark your calendars for the 7th of next month and catch Cooperation Cup 16, because it's coming up. Or go back and watch Cooperation Cup 15, because that shit's hype AF. Look it up, folks. So that is number 4 on my list of top 10 sets of 2017. Moving on to number 3. Buco versus Smug, Canada Cup Grand Finals, Ultra Street Fighter 4. Oh, man. This match is a slobber knocker, and it's something that if you are a fan of Street Fighter 4, you know the Seth Dudley matchup is gonna be pressing buttons. You're gonna see some combos, capital C combos. Pizza combos are the best tasting combos, but that's another story. No, this particular set is, again, this is a slobber knocker. It is Buco coming from losers. He resets the bracket. Both of the sets go to last match, last round. Buco even does a combo here that I've watched a lot of Street Fighter 4, but he does a juggle off of jumping medium punch, and I know that Seth can juggle off a jumping medium punch into EX Tandem Ninja, where I'm just like, I don't think I've ever seen that in a live match before ever. And here it is, years, like 9, almost oh gosh, are we 10 years after the launch of Street Fighter 4? No, not yet. 9 years after. I'm still finding fresh shit, and god damn, what a set. If you want to watch some exciting Street Fighter 4, well, first and foremost, Canada Cup is one of your premier tournaments for if you want to watch some top level and appreciation for Street Fighter 4. They've kind of been running that the last couple of years, and they love it up there in Canada. And in general, that's just a fun tournament to watch. Shout outs to the 50x50.com. However, this particular set, Smug versus Buco, it is a delight, because both of these guys share such an appreciation of the game, and the links are tight. The combos are spelled out with a capital C. Very exciting set. If you want to, maybe if you want to dip your toes into Street Fighter 4, and if you've never experienced some high level Street Fighter 4 play, maybe you just got into Street Fighter 5, check out this match. I'm going to be sharing the link in the comments down. But yeah, by the way, I don't know if I said this at the top, but all the links to these matches will be shared in the description or in the comments down below if you're watching on YouTube. But anyway, moving on to number 2. This one is a personal favorite of mine. This might, if not for number 1, and the reasons why number 1 is so good on my list, I had a debate with myself on this, because, you know, is this a personal list, or is this one that I think can speak to everybody who enjoys Street Fighter? And even so, number 1 still holds that spot, but the number 2, very contentious with the number 1 in my heart. But it goes to Pools Evo 2017, Up to Snuff versus Mago. If you don't know who Up to Snuff is, he has shown up in our online tournaments, and he is in the Northeastern community. He's around there. He's kind of with Traveling Controller. It's not sponsored by them, but he associates with them from time to time, and anyone in that region basically. And this dude is strong. He is one of the strongest Nikalis probably in this region, and in general. I knew him from the weeklies that we run on our Street Fighter, the online weeks that we run, and I'm like, oh man, he's playing Mago next. So I'm running around trying to find all the sets of everyone I know at Evo during pools, because that's just how pools work. And Up Snuff plays Mago, and he bodies him. And I can't tell you, if you've never been in this position, it is one that is hard to express in words, of watching someone's success that you have even had a minimal effect on how they play, and watching them improve as a player. Because like his local community is really what grafted him as a strong Nikali. But yeah, he competed in the online weeklies. He has done very well. Did he ever win one? I actually don't recall if he did. He might have won one. Regardless, he competes in your tournament, and to watch someone body one of the gods so cleanly and so perfectly, it is hard to express in words that feeling of I guess, what is the word I'm looking for? Like combined. It's not a combined effort, but it's a collective appreciation and like collective sense of accomplishment, I think. Now, granted, like, I didn't do anything. It's like watching your favorite sports team wins when you say, like, we beat the Browns today. Like, you didn't do anything. I didn't do anything to have Up to Snuff be so good. dude put in the work and is hella strong on his own accord. But there's that part of me that's like, yo, you just bought Mago free, made him look free. Damn, does that not feel good? It's one of the best feelings in fighting games. And because of that, I will say, if you can get entrenched or ingrained in a local community, if you can't find one, we have resources in the sidebar and in the wiki. We've got all kinds of places you can look to help you find a local. If not any of that, if there's none in your region, hop on the online tournaments. It extends out to a vast region, netcode considering. But find your locals, get in deep, watch people grow, and share in their success, share in their victories, and just because that's just part of fighting games, man. It's watching someone that you've bodied once or twice go on and body one of the gods, and there's that feeling is hard to explain in words, but damn if it doesn't, at least for me, that's one of like the top feelings in fighting games, is that shared sense of accomplishment. And for that reason, Up to Snuff versus Mago Evo 2017 is damn near at the top of the list. It very nearly made number one, had not number one been the match what it is. And by the way, anyone watching the video, this was the only recorded footage I have of this match, is shaky cam footage. I think my shoulder is in this video too. I'm like to the left of the person holding it, and they do like a right turn, and regardless, but whatever. If number one wasn't so strong, this would be my number one, because after this set, I pop off and we all jump up to Snuff, and it is, man, that feeling unmatched, unrivaled, I will say. But moving on to number one, y'all know what it is: Tokido versus Punk, Evo Grand Finals of this year. And again, I will extend this out to where they met in pools, which was prior to top 32. Specifically for a couple moments in that set, where there's one particular moment where Tokido, this is in before they met to get in top 32, where Punk sends Tokido down to losers. There's a moment where Tokido has Punk in the corner, does a neutral jump fireball. Punk goes underneath of it with the command dash, and then punishes the recovery. Tokido sets up a very similar situation here in Grand Finals, and instead of neutral jumping and throwing the fireball, he just neutral jumps, comes down on him with a jumping medium kick, because he knows that Punk was looking to punish an air fireball. So he does a command dash, gets the counter hit combo, and you would miss it if you didn't watch the match prior, because you know for a fact Tokido watched that set. You know for a fact he was watching that set, looking for tendencies, looking for how he wants to play. And just the way that this set goes, and the way that Tokido breaks Punk down just from every direction, from every corner, he's pulling out all the stops. And then after the win, he does that fantastic quotable line of fighting games are so great, are something so great. How can this not be your favorite set of 2017? It encompasses everything. The way that Tokido broke down one of the top players at the time. Everyone had Punk on a golden platter. They were serving it up. Punk number one, free. He had bodied everybody. He had bodied Tokido earlier in this tournament, but Tokido said, "Nah, son, I got that experience. Let me just use my experience to pull your collective pants around your ankles, and then close out one set." And then Punk so quickly goes to the rematch after that set. And I was actually watching this match with my wife live in that stadium. As soon as Tokido won that set and Punk immediately hit that rematch button, I turned to her and I was like, "Tokido has won. He will win this tournament. I promise you that." And that's exactly what happened. He was beaten mentally. And to just watch someone win the game in their mind is what I love to watch in fighting games, and just to watch the mental strength. Now, contrast this. You can actually contrast this set with Menna and Tokido's set in Capcom Cup, where they're playing for fuck ton load more money. And where Tokido kind of broke down, didn't know the matchup, didn't do the homework for Birdie. No one did. But this particular set exemplifies all of that. And then again, that line at the end in the interview afterwards with Gutex, where he just says, "Fighting games are something so great," and I believe that. I believe that to be true. And I want to end it on that because they are. And I look forward to 2018. There's so many good fighting games right now. There's so many small communities that are growing. We took a hit there in 2016. A lot of communities dispersed a little bit, but we're on the come up. We're getting back. We're getting the band back together. Everyone's kind of. It's the feeling is you've got a little bit more momentum now, and I feel like 2018 will be a great year for fighting games. I'm looking forward to it, folks, and I hope you are as well. So that closes it out for my top 10 list of my favorite sets of 2017, and I encourage you guys to share your favorite sets of 2017 in the comments below. I will say, as always, feel free to rate and review this show if you're listening to it on iTunes or whatever service you listen to. Give it some stars. I don't care how many. Doesn't matter to me none. But anyway, you can catch me at Super Joe Munday on Twitter or Joe_Munday on our Street Fighter on the sub. So look for this post on the sub if you want to catch all of the links to those details, or just look in the description below if you're listening to it on whatever podcast service you choose to listen to it. But that about wraps it up, folks, for the latest edition of RSF Radio. Again, I'm Joe Munday, and we will catch you guys next week on another edition of RSF Radio. Take care, folks.